This week in Come Follow Me, we talked about how the witnesses were able to see not only the gold plates, but the sword of Laban, the Urim and Thummim, so many amazing things. Now, if you're like me, maybe you've thought before, wouldn't it be so cool if my kids could see that, right? Get their own witness. Well, this week, we're going to talk about how to help them do something maybe not quite as tangible, but absolutely just as powerful. Hi, my friend. I'm Jamie K. Knapp, and welcome to the channel where quick insights and tips make raising kids in the gospel so much easier and a lot more fun. Today, we talk about the witnesses of the Book of Mormon, what they saw, and more importantly, how we can help our own kids come to know just assuredly that the Book of Mormon is true and that God is very real and present in their lives. I'm going to be sharing a really fun activity that's super easy that you can do with your kids that will help them find their own witness. So make sure you hang around for that. But first, we're going to jump into the experience of the witnesses themselves so that we can understand that and then better understand how to help our kids. The witnesses had a desire to see the plates. Peter and John, and even Oliver Cowdery, I think in his heart, really wanted to see it. And so they asked Joseph about it. Now, Oliver Cowdery was a little different. Joseph sought him out. He was in a place where he just didn't feel worthy to see them. But John and Peter actually asked Joseph if it might be possible they could see them. And the Lord's answer to them was fascinating. He said, "Behold, I say unto you that you must rely upon my word, which if you do with full purpose of heart, you shall have a view of the plates, and also the breastplate, the sword of Laban, the Urim and Thummim, which were given to the brother of Jared upon the mount when he talked with the Lord face to face, and the miraculous directors which were given to Lehi while in the wilderness on the borders of the Red Sea." Now, the cool thing about this is that they had a righteous desire. The Lord said, yes, you can see them, but not only that, I'm going to show you the breastplate, the sword of Laban, the Urim and Thummim, and the Liahona. It's okay to ask heaven for things that we want. It's okay to ask heaven for those righteous desires. And that Heavenly Father usually gives us even more than we ask for. But he does ask for a little bit of effort on our part. And that's exactly what he did with the witnesses. Now, why did he share these things with the witnesses? Why these objects? Well, the breastplate and the sword of Laban, the Urim and Thummim, the Liahona, all of these were examples of how God had worked miracles in the lives of his children. The sword of Laban was evidence that Nephi could do something that seemed absolutely impossible. When the odds were against him, when there was no way he should be able to get the plates without being killed, he got them. The Lord delivered Laban into his hands and made it possible for him to get the plates. The Liahona helped Lehi and his sons to get through the wilderness, to know how to get to the promised land, to get to better things in their lives. And the Lord allows the same for each of us. We might not see the actual Liahona. We might not see the actual sword of Laban, but we can see the same evidence. We can see that God is a God of miracles in our lives, that he helps us get to better things, help us to do things that otherwise would have been impossible. And although we may not see the actual Liahona, we can see evidence in our lives, reminders that he is there with us in our journeys. A good question to ask this week is, what reminders do I have that God is a God of miracles for me? What are the tokens of faith and miracles in my life? And sometimes we don't know they're there. Today, we're going to talk about how to discover them so that we can have the same evidences in our lives. So let's learn by doing. This activity can be super fun if you have kids that learn better when they're not sitting on the couch. Now, this you can use a lot of different things. If you have cookies, you can wrap them up individually, or maybe run to the dollar store and get some fun-sized candy bars that are already individually wrapped. If you have older teens, dollar bills work great. What you want to do is get one for each child and go hide them somewhere, maybe in their bedroom, maybe in the hallway, somewhere there where they can find it on the way to the lesson. The next step is you want to call them all up for the lesson and then ask them if they saw the cookies or the dollar bills on their way to the lesson. Now, of course, they're not going to because they were hidden and they're not looking for them. Once they say no, go ahead and tell them, well, there was a dollar bill. It was on your way here. So go find it. And they're going to go and they're going to search for them. They're going to go find and see what they didn't see before. Now they know to look for it. Once they find it and they get back, is your chance to share the message. In Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 17, verse 2, it says, "And it is by your faith that ye shall obtain a view of them," meaning the plates, "even by that faith which was had by the prophets of old." The first step to receiving our own witnesses that God is real and alive in our lives and that the gospel is true, that the Book of Mormon is true, is to believe that we can receive that witness. Your kids knew that the dollar bill was there because you told them. So once they knew it was there, it was easier for them to find. Now, the next question is to ask, how am I a witness to the truth of the Book of Mormon? What have I seen and experienced that was evidence to me that it is true? Just like the dollar bill that your kids didn't see until they looked for it, sometimes we won't see the evidences in our lives until we look for it. So take just a minute and ask yourself, how am I a witness of the Book of Mormon? What experiences have I had in my life that help me know that it's true? Now, you might have to help your kids a little bit with this. Give them an example from your life. So for me, I know that there have been times when I've been reading the Book of Mormon with a question in my heart about one of my kids, and the answer came to my mind. That for me is evidence that God is there and that he used something that is true to speak to my heart. There have been other incidences in our lives where we have done what it said in the Book of Mormon and had blessings. So find some of those examples from your life that you can share. Maybe think of some from your kids' life that you can use as an example and to help them start brainstorming ways they've seen the Lord's hand in their lives. Now, the cool part about this is once they have gone through a couple of examples, it'll be easier for them to see it in the future so that they can start building evidence. The Lord didn't just let the witnesses see the plates. They saw the liahona, the sword, the breastplate. They had multiple witnesses, and your kids will too, once they know how to look for them. I think the real message of this week is that each of us can have our own witness, that if we're willing to go look for it, maybe search under some dirty clothes or maybe some trials in our lives, that we can find witnesses that we can know, just like the witnesses of the Book of Mormon, that God is real, that the Book of Mormon is true, and that he's very much so a part of our life.